It's been over a week since I've last done a movie review, and I feel terrible about it. I've mostly been binge watching the series Scrubs. We just started season 2, so that's kind of been my main focus. But I did squeeze a childhood classic in there that I hadn't seen since I was a kid, and I picked it up on VHS over a year ago, and it's been on the list of movies that I wanted to revisit and see how they held up over time. This movie came out in 1974, Earthquake. I just love VHSs because, VHSs, is that how you say it? VHS tapes, plural, because of, you know, you still have a cool paper label, box design, everything. I don't know. It's just so much more tangible than like a Blu-ray or a DVD. I don't know. It's like, or even streaming. So anyway, this movie has a 2-hour and 3-minute runtime, and I remember seeing this movie on TV as a kid and renting it from our local video store, Big A Video in Anaheim, California. So it's one of those movies that I remember certain scenes that just are forever in my mind, core memories, if you may, because I loved disaster films as a kid. And as a child, it was like, whoa, that is so cool. And looking back at it with modern eyes here in 2023, it's just very cheesy. And I love the actors that are in this movie. It was directed by Mark Robson, and it won 2 Academy Awards, actually. Best Sound Mixing and an award for Special Achievement. That was just what I saw on Wikipedia. I didn't dive too deeply into that. It's a Universal Pictures. It cost $7 million to make, and Charlton Heston, kind of right around his Omega Man period, very, you know, post his big movies like Ben-Hur in the 50s and all that. So, and then Ava Gardner plays his wife, Lorne Greene plays his boss, and then one of my favorite actors is in it, George Kennedy. I always think of him in the movie Cool Hand Luke. He plays an LAPD officer gone rogue. But this movie, I don't know, I have mixed feelings on it. Like, there was bits and pieces of it that I really enjoyed. So here we are in 1974 Los Angeles. The Charlton Heston character is an architect. And then there's like political elements of it too, where like the Caltech guys that are like the earthquake specialists are like, oh, we better not say this because we don't want to call this chaos. The LA mayor's like, I don't know, I don't want to cause all this conflict. And like, people knew the big one was coming, but then for political reasons, they didn't want to make a big deal out of it. And it just kind of goes on from there. So, spoiler alert, there's a huge earthquake, mass destruction. It just, I don't know, like, I see what they were doing. They were working with what they had at the time, right? So the special effects just to me are so cheesy. Lots of styrofoam representing concrete. I think the whole pivotal thing in this movie is let's see brick and styrofoam and construction debris, building material debris just rain down upon everybody. That's basically the movie in a nutshell. But there's like the plot line of like, he's having an affair with this young starlet girl who's a single mom, and his wife's kind of like an alcoholic drug addict type, and they're like kind of living together but estranged. But his dad is, no, his father-in-law is her dad. So, but then like she looks like she could be the wife of the dad. It was just a really weird casting choice. But again, this movie to me, there's like certain scenes that are really good, but then the special effects just don't hold up to what we see today, obviously. But maybe that gives it character. I don't know. Because right here on the back of the box, it says, the most chilling special effects ever filmed. I don't know. To me, they seem kind of hokey. But again, we're looking at it 49 years after the fact, right? So maybe this was a classic, and it still is a classic. Google users have it up there. They're 79% with Google users, so people still enjoy this movie. IMDb was 5.9 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes average was 47%. I liked parts of it, but like as a whole, it was just kind of cheesy for me. I was more leaning towards 2 out of 5. I still think about certain scenes. Like there's this one scene where like a big plate glass window breaks and like the lady has like pieces of plate glass like sticking out of her face. And I remember that scene as a child, and I saw it in the movie with modern eyes, and it was like, this is kind of hokey. But there's like a couple of really pivotal scenes that to me are still intense, but just as a whole, like there's this one scene where the Charlton Heston's love interest, his like side chick, her son is out riding his bike during the earthquake and riding across like a flood channel, and the bridge collapses and there's live wires flying all around and sparking and arcing, and then the Hollywood Reservoir is breaking and water's rushing down. So like there's like this pivotal moment where they have to like pull him out of the wires before he gets electrocuted, and floodwaters could sweep him away. So that's pretty intense. And then like his office tower, like all the elevator shafts are damaged and they're trying to get out from the upper levels. Man, God, it made me think of 9/11 and all those people that were stuck on the upper levels. And they're lowering an office chair like 3 floors down and broken pieces of the building with the fire hose. And it's like super intense. So like those scenes really stand out in my mind. But like you see buildings crumbling and it just looks so cheesy now. There's like this cameo appearance where like everybody's getting meleeed by this earthquake, and there's like this dive bar where Walter Matthau is dressed like some 70s pimp, and he's just completely wasted, drinking shot after shot in this bar. The earthquake is just destroying anything and everyone all around him, and he comes out unscathed at the very end of it because he was drunk. I think of the guy in Titanic. There was a chef that got totally wasted while the ship was sinking and survived for hours in the water and didn't die like everybody else did from hypothermia. So that's my take on Earthquake. It's a movie of its time, but it's just very cheesy, and there's all these love triangles that kind of play out in the end of the film. And I'm interested to hear your thoughts on it, and if I'm way off on my assessment of this movie. I don't want to denigrate anybody's favorite film, but for me, it's just kind of, it's going to go back on the shelf. It's been about 20 years since I watched it. I don't know if I will be watching this movie anytime soon, or if I would add it to my list of like, if there was a terrible disaster coming my way, what do I take with me to the safe room? I don't know if Earthquake would make the cut. Until next time, we'll see you then.